Hello, I'm Karen Hall, editor for Cygnus Graphics Media, and I'm talking today with Mike Philie, Vice President and Senior Consultant for NAPL. Mike, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Karen. Nice to be here.
You know, you're an expert on digital and digital sales, that whole area, so I'd like to start by asking you, what are some of the basic strategies to grow print sales in our changing industry?
Well, first, I'll have to make a little correction. Beware of experts. I don't consider myself an expert. I'm experienced, and really not just in digital or commercial or sheet fed or anything like that. And it's really, and we were talking about this earlier, it's just some conventional ways to grow the business. It really starts with the customer. What are they trying to accomplish? I think opportunities for us to become more client-centric and more inquisitive and more passionate about whether it's the vertical that client's in or their specific business, understanding their business maybe as good as or as well as they know their business. And I think those are the things today that make a big impact in trying to grow your overall revenue. You have to put yourself in their shoes first a little bit. Okay,
yeah, that's a very good point. Now, in your opinion, is it better to train conventional offset sales reps to sell digital printing, or are you better off to bring in people who sell digitally or digital printing exclusively?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
And it really all depends. I don't think there is a set pattern. It really depends on the individuals, depends on the company, depends on the culture. But I think, again, going back, it's too often I see companies that are struggling to, they're telling their sales force, hey guys, we need to sell more digital. Or we need to fill up that digital equipment. And it's not that, it's really, it's hopefully you got that digital equipment, and just like you got your offset equipment to fill the needs of your client base and the markets that you serve. And if your current client base doesn't need those services, you need to go out and find other client bases, which is whole other obstacle that we struggle with at times. But regarding the training part, I mean, I've seen some that really adapt to it very well, and they have accounts that really providing digital services is a natural extension of what they're already doing. Sometimes there's a hang up over the fact that a rep may not want to be, perceptionally selling a $50 job. It's not about selling the individual transaction kind of things, but I think if there's opportunities for programs, for ongoing efforts with clients, the old, sell once, print often, right? So that you're only really selling the concept once, establishing the program, providing that vehicle for the transfer of all that work, and then every day or every week or every month, you're producing digital work. So that starts too at the top. It starts with the culture of the organization, the sales direction, as opposed to leaving it up individually to each separate salesperson.
Okay, well that certainly makes sense. Now, there are still digital skeptics out there. That's easy for me to say, right? Can you discuss, for their benefit, how the margins on digital print have changed, how they've actually improved over the years?
Well, I think what you'll find is that those companies, and this is what my clients tell me, the clients that have wrapped digital print around a solution, around other services and all that, the margins are very good. The ones that are just trying to sell a per click and just trying to sell commodity kind of work, that's probably not as well, the margins probably are not where they want them to be. So really, it's really no different than going back to offset, right? It's providing the value to your customers and providing them a good reason to do business with you. And from a deliverable standpoint, it's making sure, one, we're printing the right things, the right way, and for the right reasons. And then I think the rest kind of takes care of it for itself. Too often we just get hung up on the product and, how many do you want, where do you need them?
Okay, all right, so we're back to the point of avoiding commoditization, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, we've all heard about consultative selling for the better part of a decade now, maybe longer. Can you give the viewers a few concrete, actionable items to make that transition?
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of depends on where their baseline is, you know. So there is, but some of the things that we see that are successful is, we talked about this a few minutes ago, Karen, is that being passionate about your customer, about their business, asking questions that don't revolve around when do I get my next order. It's about doing some research on that vertical market, coming to the table with ideas that they can put to use, not to be an unpaid consultant, don't get me wrong, but more so focusing on what they're doing, what they need, and how they will spell success, being a part of that, as opposed to, do you have anything for me to quote on today?
Very good.
And I think making that slight transition is not going to make you a consultative salesperson overnight, but it's taking a couple short steps to making that progress.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. That's a lot of good information for the viewers and a lot for them to think about. So I really appreciate you joining us today.
Karen, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks.